Hey guys, welcome to the HooperCast. Hi Dustin.
Hello Hooper. Hello everybody out in the internet space.
We're here today to talk about Comic-Con and stuff we've learned so far in Comic-Con. Today is Wednesday.
Because we're there. We are at Comic-Con. We're coming to you live from San Diego.
You can go ahead and assume, if you choose, that we are at Comic-Con. That's all I should probably say legally. Now, it is Wednesday the 15th, so anything that might be missing from this episode, fucking feedback, motherfucker. Anything that is not. Oh my god, I can't do this. Like, I'm just gonna have to take a headphone out. All right. So, God, you know what I need to do? I need to turn Skype up. There we go. That did it. Just turn down the volume in GarageBand.
There you go.
No one knows the damn difference, dog. All right. So anything that's been announced that is not included here is just because up to this time has been announced, dog. So back up off me.
We're only going to talk about what we care about.
Yeah. So far, there's been nothing from the Marvel panel. I'm guessing that's going to be later. So sorry that's not included.
Comic-Con actually, I believe, is over. But there was no Marvel panel this year, period.
That's a little strange.
The thought was that they were like, I don't know, I guess a little like leery of what DC might be cooking up, which turned out to be not much of anything too spectacular,
as we will soon discuss.
But yeah, I don't know exactly why. It could just be that Disney didn't want to go through, all the hassle of that for what seems like, very little return these days, because, everything is just going to get put online a few days later. It doesn't seem like it's that important maybe anymore. So there's probably a lot of factors that played into it. But yeah, Marvel decided not to have a panel this year for their films.
Well, I guess they haven't shot enough of Civil War to really warrant, any sort of teaser, I guess. Sure. I don't know. But I figured maybe they haven't shot anything. Who knows?
Plus, at this point, they know their movies sell. Like, they don't have to do any extra marketing.
That's true. Well, and that's another thing. Like, we could go to Comic-Con, or we could keep all the actors and all the crew just on set and keep working. So, may as well just do that. I want to talk just briefly about the fact that Comic-Con and a bunch of what I used to consider valid news sources are now butthurt that these trailers are getting leaked online, and they're acting all surprised. Like, why do people have to leak footage?
Right,
like, because you're showing them exclusive footage and they want people to see it. So
that's how the internet works.
That's what I said. Like, this is the second instance for me recently where I'm sitting back and going, don't you understand? Like, the Ariana Grande thing, you're not apologizing because you're sorry you said you hate America. You're apologizing because you forgot how the internet works and social media works.
True.
So they're upset over here because they forgot that cell phones can put things on the computer thingy and
do it quickly.
Well, it's just, are they that stupid that they didn't anticipate in Hall H that one of these thousands of people, forget one, at least half of them, at the very least, have phones on them, and they're gonna put stuff on YouTube and Twitter. I mean, so their whole thing was like, well, people pay tickets, and people who watch the trailers online are ruining Comic-Con for everyone else. And I just think that's insane. That's stupid.
Yeah. You're still there. You're still experiencing it. I'm still at home reading about it online. It's not ruining your experience at all. Yeah.
They tried to pull all those Deadpool trailers, and they now we'll see in a second with our second topic, like Suicide Squad. I didn't even know that trailer had been leaked because Warner Brothers said, okay, well, here's how we fix this. We put out a trailer like right now that you know, on our terms. Yeah, because we want people to watch. If people are going to see this footage, we want them to see the high quality footage. Right. And so good on them, because like I said, I didn't even realize it had been leaked before I saw their trailer. Yeah. So that's what Fox should have done, instead of, you know, bitching and moaning about it. Like, oh, well, they showed Deadpool. You know, and they're all like, we want to put the effects aren't finished and best foot forward. And it's like, your best foot forward, again, forethought. Did you really not consider this as a possibility?
Right. Yeah. I mean, you should totally have seen this coming. You're in a room full of nerds who love Deadpool. They're going to film it so they can watch it again later. If they're not going to put it online, they're at least going to just film it so they can watch it again. Like that. Right. That's how it works these days. Right.
So their solution, I was talking to John about this. Their solution is they're considering not showing footage at Comic-Con anymore. Right. Which, to their credit, that will work. I mean, if I were them, I would say, what can I do to remedy this situation? Like, this is our fault. You know, how do we fix this? And if you go from that point of view, it's like, well, we could just, you know, the surest way that no one will see this is that we don't show it. Right. I get it. That is a solution, but I mean, what's their alternative? You can't. It's not like a swingers party. You can't just check everyone at the door and say, "All right, put your phone in this jar until the night's over." And you know, you might end up with your phone or a stranger's phone. And if it's a stranger's phone, you know, you're in for a good night. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, and you can't. You can't. EMP doesn't exist that would knock out people's phones, but not microphones or lights. So you have no other options, or just accept. Why is this a problem this year? Like, hasn't this happened every year? Yes, it has. Or have in past years everyone has just released trailers like regular? Yeah. Right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, this does happen every year, and
we wanted secret footage, but we can't have our secret footage.
Right, we wanted to just share it with the people we wanted to. Well, get over it.
Well, anyway, that's what's happening. I needed to get that out because that just annoys me that they're like, I mean, I'll go and call them out. It was Wired. Wired used to be cool. Wired was like tech articles, and, you know, if they're at Comic-Con, they should be covering mechanical things like, oh, the new PlayStation or something, or you know, go over and check out Oculus Rift. But Wired is Wired reporting on movie stuff. That's not really. I don't consider that their brand. But
that's because the internet. One thing that the internet is doing is like muddying what people's brands are. Yes, because everybody wants to just be the place where you get a thing. And so it doesn't really matter what that thing is as long as you get it from us. And one of the most popular things, it seems, lately online is movie news. Everybody loves checking out the latest trailer or, you know, the most recent news. So, of course, if you have an established brand, you're going to try to jump into that. And that's stupid. You should stick to what your brand is. But that's one of the negative side effects of the internet, is just everybody wants to be that source for everything.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. Now, at what cost? Yeah, exactly. So, like the line of their article was literally, "Stop it! You're ruining Comic-Con for everyone else." And I was like, "Excuse me."
Right. One of my least favorite things, just real quick while we're talking about it, is these stupid articles that are set up like this. Like the headline is this: "Local man opens buried treasure. You won't believe what he finds inside." And that's the headline. I'm like, that's not a headline. And I'm not clicking on it because, I don't know, this could be a really big waste of my time. Maybe he just found wood inside.
You know, half the time, it really is something dumb. It's like,
it is.
You guessed it, treasure. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
yeah, exactly. It's stupid. And I hate that the internet is becoming like where everybody wants to break every story always. Yeah. And when they don't have a story, they create something out of nothing. Like that.
Well, welcome to the media, Dustin.
I know, but God almighty, it just seems so crazy. Like honestly, if I cut Facebook out of my life, I would not see those.
That's why it's so tough for me, like when I'm putting these podcast episodes up on the internet, it's really tough for me to write like some sort of hook for it, because part of me is like, all right, well, I want people to listen, but sure. I don't want to be the guy who's saying, find out what we talk about if you click the link. And it's like, no one's going to click the link and listen for 30 minutes or an hour to find out what we talk about. That's why I put it in the title. That's why I put the time code in. That's why I put in topic bullet points, because people want to know what they're about to. It's not like you don't have to trick people into consuming your thing.
No, I mean, look.
Should have worded that differently.
To be fair, both of these are equally, I think, attractive headlines. Mm-hmm. HooperCast episode, and then your number, and then Terminator Genesis.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm interested in that. I will click and listen to see what you have to say. You don't have to say, HooperCast, Dustin loves Terminator 2. You won't believe what he had to say about Terminator Genesis. That actually makes me want to listen less.
Yeah, if I could listen less than not clicking on the link, I would do it. If I could,
can I negative listen?
Yeah.
Instead of listening, I will just say things and give it back to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate it too. Well, anyway, let's talk about Batman Superman. So they did have a trailer for this. It was long. It was like 3.5 minutes long. So
yeah, it's a long trailer.
Freaking Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
And
the Ben-Hur of trailers.
Yeah. Now, Dustin, what did you think of this trailer? When you first saw, or I don't know, not when you first saw it. What do you think of it currently? Jesus.
I liked it. I mean, look, the thing that I think hooks me most, while there's plenty in it that I'm kind of like, what? There's a lot more in it that I'm like, yes. And the reason for that is that they started with story. I mean, you get like a good grasp of what the story is and when we come into the movie, what it's going to be like, what that world is, what the established sort of time frame and setting is. And I like that because when you have this sequel, and especially something like this, which is up to this point been kind of nebulous, is it following Man of Steel? Is it just kind of its own thing and it's not really going to reference Man of Steel? Or what? Like, what's the connection? That to start it in the fight between Superman and Zod, but from a different perspective. Yeah. I think is very, very interesting and actually a really cool way to interlock these characters, because you look at something like Marvel's Civil War, we know why Tony and Steve are going to be fighting, but up to this point we haven't really had any concrete evidence as to why Bruce and Clark would be at each other's throats. So it makes sense now that question is answered, Bruce's connection to Superman and to Metropolis and all of that is answered, and we even get some good story beats as far as like, where is this Batman in his career? We see Robin's costume all spray painted with Joker's handwriting. We see a couple different things like that lead us to believe that this is a Batman who's been beaten down, and this is just sort of the latest in a string of losses for him. And
Batman's also recently divorced because of boozing and gambling. Oh, sorry, that's not bad. Sorry, that's Ben Affleck.
So very close, but so very far. But yeah, so we get. I guess what I like most about the trailer is not only do you get a good sense of.
I'm sorry, that was a low blow on Ben Affleck. I shouldn't have said that.
Hey, it's okay. You know what? Ben Affleck's not going to listen to this.
I guess all I'm saying is that every time you see, Bruce Wayne looking, depressed and melancholy,
and disheveled,
probably wasn't a stretch. That's all I'm saying.
Probably not. No, probably not. But yeah, we get a good sense of where the story's at. We get a good sense of the connection to Man of Steel. Mm-hmm. We get a good sense of sort of the ramifications of the first film, which is always something that I've hoped this film would cover. So I like that. And I think Zack Snyder has gone on record now, I guess at the panel maybe, of saying that the intention was always to deal with, in whatever came next, the destruction of Metropolis. That was always going to be sort of this like springboard into the next thing. to have sort of the city not sure about him. And it certainly sells the idea that Lex Luthor would be against him. And it sells the idea here, too, that Batman would see him as a threat. So from a story perspective and from a character perspective, I think it did its job and sold me on what these characters are saying and thinking and feeling at this moment. I think, if anything, I'm a little hesitant about the fact that I don't think Superman has a single line in that whole trailer.
He does not speak at all.
And that was one of my problems with Man of Steel. That was one of my problems with Superman Returns. Is why isn't he talking? Especially Superman Returns. Like he said like 5 lines in that whole movie, and I'm just like, is it that he's so hard to write for that you can't come up with a voice for him, or what's the deal? So hopefully maybe they're just kind of withholding a little bit of that and just trying to sell the new aspects of it. The Luthor, this senator, and Bruce Wayne, and Superman, you've already seen a movie, so we'll just kind of withhold some of that for now.
Right.
Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, that struck me as odd. But yeah, and also sort of Wonder Woman. There's a few shots of Wonder Woman in the trailer, which we expected, but I'm not sure exactly how they fit in, and so I kind of wish maybe they didn't have any of Wonder Woman in this particular trailer. But
right, yeah, it wasn't necessary for because this trailer is mostly seems to be this is how Batman sees all this.
Exactly.
To me, Batman's the star of this trailer.
Yes, exactly. This is a trailer that sells you on the idea of why Batman would be against Superman.
Yes.
And so I enjoyed that from a story perspective, from a character perspective. And, I just enjoy, I think, seeing this sort of wearied kind of Batman who maybe, that Robin suit is suggesting that he's already lost Jason Todd to the Joker. All of these things that have never really been in play in a Batman film before made me excited. And, to see like a couple different of like Batman's gadgets. There's a grappling hook, there's a couple of vehicles, and then there's even a couple of different costumes. To me, I feel like this is the most maybe interesting incarnation of Batman so far, or has the potential to be, in that it's more like, the Batman the Animated Series Batman, in that like, okay, I'm going to tailor this costume to whatever environment I'm going to, or I'm going to use everything that I have, at my disposal. And
including this gigantic, bulky helmet.
Yes, exactly.
Because if Superman punches me in the head, I might die instantly.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Which also, I think Zack Snyder talked about that. He said the suit that Bruce is wearing is purely defensive. It is not offensive at all. It doesn't enhance Bruce. It's just merely like, holy crap, I'm going to go talk to a guy.
I'm gonna go tell Superman that I don't like the cut of his jib, and I'm just preparing myself.
Let me make sure I'm wearing some steel armor. To me, honestly, I enjoyed the trailer, and I thought there was a lot that really piqued my interest. I'm not 100% sold on Jesse Eisenberg's wig, but beyond that, I'm pretty interested. So.
Yeah, his wig looked like 2 Merkins, just,
I think that's the point, but still.
It was like a Rugrats hairdo.
So bad. Yeah. Anyway, what did you think of it, Hooper?
Well, when I first saw it, I was surprised because I told people, I said, I'm pretty easy to please, and I usually feel something, but I saw that trailer and I felt absolute nothingness. It didn't change how I felt about seeing the movie or anything that made me even more or less excited about it. I just watched it before we sat down and heated up the mics, and I could see a little better. The quality was better, and I had time to actually look around at the. I have a large computer. I don't want to brag, but it's a big screen.
I got a big computer.
Oh my god!
Let me just tell you,
it's such a big screen.
You need to know this about me.
Yeah. I
ain't playing around with my computers.
This is why Dustin is. Dustin is here, because you shed light on things that I see, but I didn't see. Oh, here's a good analogy, Dustin. In the Arkham and the Batman games, I'm looking around and I see the room. I'm like, yeah, I see all this. And you go, hold on. And you flip that detective vision. You go, all right, now do you see? And I go, oh, man, I do.
There's 3 armed guards right around the corner.
Yes, I do. Yeah, and the footprints, I got it. Cool. Oh, that's a weak wall. I can do the explosive gel. Insert additional Batman reference here, only if you've played this game. So I'm still so pissed off I can't play Arkham Knight.
I know, me too.
All right, well, I don't work for Rocksteady or DC. I'm not here to plug this game. Although,
neither do I, but I would love to.
If they'd like to sponsor us, yes, they would. Yes. Yeah, that'd be great. All right, well, but okay, so I watched the trailer, and I definitely agree and see what you're talking about in terms of character. They did a good job with the trailer in terms of tell me something I don't know already. Like shed light on what the dynamics are. That's what you want to know about this, is what are the dynamics? Because you don't want to spend the first 20 minutes of the movie wondering, hey, does he like Superman? What's going on? You know, you want to know. That's what a trailer should do. Just tell me what's kind of going on. So they did a good job with that. I think what I still don't like about this movie so far is I'm not really sold on the. And again, it's just a trailer, but I'm not sold on. I'm not sold on Ben Affleck as Batman. I said when he was cast, I was like, he's a good choice. I think he'll be good. But all I've seen from him so far is not that great. So who knows? But again, I think you're right. This has the potential to be the best live action incarnation of Batman, because he's not the Batman we've seen, especially recently, but even before. I mean, he's been through everything. He's lost things already, whereas none of the Schumacher Batman had any sense of weariness or no tragedy except for the parents' death, but they didn't even seem to be that bothered by that either.
Over that too.
And this isn't an origin story or a hyper real thing either. So this has the potential, both with the universe they've set and with the people they've collaborated with, to be a grounded but not Christopher Nolan grounded Batman. And again, I think Affleck has great potential, and character wise they have great potential, but I'm still not quite sold on how it's all going to work together. But that's fine. I'm okay not having that assurance. As far as this movie goes, I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna have to see more. Like, I think I'm least sold on Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I hear you.
I will see whatever trailer they do next. Normally, I kind of isolate myself, but I still need convincing for this one. You know, but good trailer.
Yeah, as for me, I mean, there's never a question of whether I'm going to see this. I will speak to your one point about whether you felt more excited or not after having seen the trailer. Here's sort of my answer to that. I was excited while I was watching the trailer and then momentarily afterward, but at this moment, I don't feel like I'm looking forward to it more than I was a few days ago.
Right.
Which I don't know whether that's a good sign or not. It could just be that, I've settled in my mind, I'm seeing the movie, I'll probably enjoy parts of it. There are probably parts of it I won't. And that because I'm that settled about it, it's not really, I'm not able to be, as excited. But I will say that, there's that final shot where Superman and Batman are in the frame together, both sort of in their classic suits. Batman's not in his armor or anything, and he's stepping out of the Batmobile. And that shot I loved a lot, just because it hit me, I guess, that this is history. I mean, these are characters who've been around for 75 plus years. And this is the first time that we're seeing them together. And that to me is just special in and of itself. And I am excited for the film, but I don't know that I'm more excited after having seen the trailer.
I hope that there's more going on in this movie, like in the subplot in the Lex Luthor plot line, or possibly the Wonder Woman one. I mean, it looks as if, she's going to be helping Bruce fight Superman for a little bit. Just for me, it's just like, this is one of those where, okay, so we know that he's, no one's going to die, and we know that eventually they'll be like, hey, you know what? We want the same thing. Oh, good thing we came together just in time because Lex Luthor wants to do some bad stuff. So for me, it's like the overall plot line or dynamic is predictable. So they better have, a curveball for me so that when they come together, there's something interesting waiting for them and not just, now let's go fight Lex.
Sure.
Because then that's just the Avengers to me.
Well, yeah, but see, this was the problem with, I was going to say, with pretty much every superhero movie. I mean, all of that's true.
Yeah.
You watch the trailer for Age of Ultron, and you kind of have seen the whole movie. There's nothing that really there's not a big enough twist anywhere in it that you're like, oh man, I didn't expect that, or didn't know I was going to see that. And that's probably a fault of marketing too, because if had they withheld the fact that Vision was in the film, you might could have, that could have been a big kind of cool twist.
Yeah.
But I think it's this idea of, okay, we have to sell action figures. We have to put everybody on the poster. Let's just announce everyone who's in the movie. Same here with Wonder Woman. I mean, if they had a couple shots of Gal Gadot, in her dress or whatever, that's fine. But withheld the shots of her in costume.
Yeah.
I think, that would have been kind of a cool twist, or even not even say that she is playing Diana, I think that could have been a cool, curveball. Oh, boom. Hey, you didn't expect to see Wonder Woman. Here she is. So I think you're right. I think there is a certain amount of, we know how the movie is going to play out. But I think it's sort of that same way with every superhero movie. It's just a matter of suspending your disbelief whenever you're in the theater. And if you can do that, then good on you. And there are times when you can and times when you can't.
Well, I'm still not sold on her as Wonder Woman either.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, I'll give her a pass because she's got superhuman powers, so it's okay if she's not as built as the two guys in there. But
right, and I've not seen Fast and the Furious, so I don't have any.
I like her just fine. She's not Meryl Streep or anything, but I mean, she's also. I mean, you don't have to cast like Gina Carano or anybody, but I mean, you have tall. I mean, I'm not gonna. This is a broad example, but Adrienne Palicki was not bad casting for Wonder Woman when they cast her. I don't believe, just because she's. Well, look, it's kind of a dumb example, but at least she's tall and athletic. You know what I mean? And I feel like Wonder Woman should be that.
At least, yeah.
And there's plenty of actresses who probably get passed over for roles because they're too tall. And one of the many forms of discrimination in Hollywood, if you want to get on that soapbox, probably has something to do with height, especially if you're a female. So there's plenty of athletic, plenty of pole vaulters who are actresses who would have loved to play Wonder Woman. So whatever. I'm not really saying they shouldn't have cast her. I'm just saying that she better show me something, because all I see right now is a thin Israeli chick who's going to play Wonder Woman, and that's fine, but it could also be a nothing performance.
It's true.
Who knows?
I don't know.
We ought to.
There is. Yeah, I don't know how to counter that, because I kind of agree with everything. We'll see when the final film comes out. But as for this trailer, she didn't necessarily have to be in it.
No, I don't think she had to be in it at all.
Yeah.
So, well, let's move on. We ought to pick up the pace a little bit. Let's talk about Suicide Squad.
Okay.
This is another one of those where it was like, see Jared Leto's terrifying, brutal Joker in this Suicide Squad trailer. And he's at the very end of it.
Yeah, it has like 2 lines.
And they say brutal. He just threatens somebody.
Yeah.
So,
just brutal.
This one,
Batman threatens Superman. Is Batman brutal?
Yeah.
Do you bleed?
You will.
You will.
He sounds like he's about to cry. Like, you will.
You will.
You're gonna bleed. I promise. I swear to God, you're gonna bleed. Suicide Squad is another. It's one of those films and one of those team ups where I don't know too much about it as a source material. We've spoken, I believe, about some broad strokes of this movie. I'm on board with Jared Leto as the Joker. I thought that physically and in terms of the caliber of act, in terms of the performer, vocal range, and physicality, I thought he was a fine choice for the Joker. For this new, like I said, this mix of grounded and cartoonish DC characters, I thought that he had the potential to be, the Mark Hamill Joker to Ben Affleck's Kevin Conroy Batman. He has the potential to be the best Joker we've had on screen yet. And then they came out with the photo of him, and that turned a lot of people off, including, I believe, you, of him a little bit, where he's covered in tattoos. He's got a grill that would, put him up there with anyone on the Young Money label. He looks, and which it's not like the Joker would not have any of those things. I don't necessarily believe that the Joker would never get a tattoo. He'd never get silver teeth. Right. Like, no, it's not that he wouldn't. It's just that, they didn't really have to go that far in the other direction, but whatever. It's fine. I'm glad his hair is green. I'm glad he still wears face makeup. I just don't want him to be so, I don't know, un-Joker-like that he's sort of not the Joker. I don't want him to be like a crazy motorcycle head. Like, I want him to still be the Joker, so.
Does he wear face makeup? Other than the lipstick.
I think he wears something a little lighter.
All of his
or
skin
skin was
like
bleached.
All
right, maybe they're going that direction with him. All right, maybe so. Well, he still wears. He's theatrical to a degree. So I guess I'll have to take another look at that. But as for this trailer, they're forming a task force, but I'm not sure for what. And again, this is once again like these are all bad guys, but we're going to root for them the whole time, even though they're bad guys. This is sort of like that Sinister Six movie, which God knows if that's even going to happen now. But so I'm rooting for them, but why? Because later I'm just going to not root for them. So what's the point of making them the protagonists of the movie?
I think the idea behind the Suicide Squad, at least the incarnations that I've read and that I've seen, the squad itself is sent out on a mission which they could very well die from. But that's okay because the mission wranglers, the higher ups in I don't know what department it is. Usually it's Argus. They oversee the Suicide Squad, and if they die, they die. Who cares? Whatever. They're bad guys. If they live, they get time knocked off their sentence. Good for them. But I think the idea is that these guys are the good guys in the sense that the mission that they're sent to, there's never an intention of them returning. And all of these people have something to live for, even though they don't necessarily do what's right with their lives. They have somebody or something, and I think that's why Deadshot is going to be maybe the hero of the film. In that you see a couple shots of him with his daughter. Typically, he's like, he's just a contract killer for the mob who gradually works his way up, and he's an expert marksman. But he's just a guy, and yeah, he butts heads with Batman a lot, but he's just a guy. And for them to send him on this mission, and say like, basically, we're not going to tell you this, but you're going to die. Gives the villains become the protagonists, and the people who sent him, the Argus, the American military, is essentially the bad guy. They're the ones treating these people unfairly and typically come across as more villainous than the villains themselves. And so I think that's what sort of makes them interesting in that it's not necessarily that they're going out and fighting somebody who has bigger or better powers than they do, even though they may very well. But the big bad is Viola Davis. The big bad is the woman who sent them on the mission in the first place. And I think that's what makes them relatable, because hopefully over the course of the film, what we'll begin to find out is that these people, though they're villains, are very, very well-rounded characters with reasons to, maybe one day be rehabilitated. They don't necessarily deserve this death sentence that they're given. And so the hard part for a writer is to make the audience believe that. Believe that they have something worth living for and that they're deserving of a chance. And they've tackled the Suicide Squad on something like on Arrow a couple of times, and Deadshot on that show comes across as very sympathetic and very, very much like not a victim, but you definitely root for him. And
probably a good
so
reason they cast Will Smith for that role too, then, because they're not going to cast him for some despicable asshole,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he may come across that way, but hopefully throughout the film, you'll start to peel back the layers of him and see him for the hero that he is, and that in his own right, he could be a member of the Justice League if he had just made better choices.
Right.
And, so if they can strike that balance, then good on them. But that's the big question is, can you make me look at this Harley Quinn and say, yeah, one day she should be set free, from prison, or one day she should be rehabilitated. If you can do that, which is a hard sell, but if you can do that, then good on you. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
And which makes me think that, because the Joker's not going to be likable. So what's probably here's my plot prediction for this film. I think that the Joker and or Harley Quinn are going to end up screwing everybody over at the end,
so,
and it's pretty much going to be Deadshot against
the two of them,
or at least against the Joker. The Joker knows why this is all happening, and the
Joker's sort of the wild card of the film, and I hope what they end up. I simultaneously hope and don't hope that they do this. Would be that they make Harley pick between the two, because I could see her as sort of this character who at the end teams up with the Suicide Squad to take down Joker. But I really hope that doesn't happen, because to me the Harley Quinn character doesn't work without the Joker. If you rid her of her obsession with him, then the character's gone.
Well, from her perspective, she has no identity without the Joker, and as a character, she has no identity without the Joker. So both by her own assessment and by the viewers, she's codependent on the Joker. So it makes sense for her to help him screw over this whole team.
Yeah,
and then 2 or 3 movies down the line, you can have that moment where the Joker finally screws her over. Mm-hmm. And it's heartbreaking, but he's a bastard. Movie's over.
Yeah, exactly. But she still loves him. But that's the thing. There's the classic episode of Batman animated series called Mad Love, where he finally does her wrong so many times that she's done.
Right.
And she breaks back to Harleen Quinzel.
Mm-hmm.
And the episode ends with her saying, "I now realize, how big of a jerk he was to me, and that I don't need him," and all of this stuff. And he's beat her up like she's got broken bones and whatnot. And they wheel her into her Arkham cell, and there's a single flower in a vase that has a tag on it that says J.
Mm.
And so as she's narrating, she's like, "He's a menace. I hate him." And she sees the flower and goes, "But I love him, and he's so sweet." And she'll never turn against him.
Right.
And that's what makes her dependent on him, and that's what makes her character so interesting, is that no matter how much he hurts her, she will never turn on Mr. J.
Yeah.
And if they do that in this film, you've
that's
lost me a little bit.
Yeah, you'd be losing me too.
Yeah.
Let's move on to a different studio. Let's move on to Fox.
Okay.
Let's talk about Deadpool.
Okay.
So the Deadpool panel happened also. They showed some test footage. It's basically a trailer. And it was interesting because, again, Fox chose to be indignant and not release the trailer. So I've watched, that one cell phone video that's terrible. I watched another one from someone who's closer to the screen. So you could actually hear more of like the audience reactions too. The trailer is very funny and shows off that real self-aware fourth wall quality of Deadpool. I feel like they've nailed it. It's really ballsy. I think I really love that Fox, especially, is okay with having an R-rated Deadpool movie, which they should not do. They shouldn't. That's the only way to do this character, in my opinion. If you really want to give the fans what they want with this character, he's got to be. He's foul mouthed. He's violent. And he's making all these references to things that you can do things in this movie you cannot do in other films and other comic book films. You just can't. You can't have them really address, except with maybe the Joker in certain iterations. But Deadpool, of everyone, is the most famous comic book character that is aware of where he is. He's aware he's in a film. He's aware he's in a comic book. Ryan, in the trailer, he's making a request about his costume, and he says, just don't make it green or animated, which is a reference to Ryan Reynolds playing the Green Lantern. And that got a huge laugh in the room. It's just things like that. Him addressing the screen, cue the music, or it's really great. I love at the end of the trailer where he puts his nose up to the smoke coming out of the pistols and he huffs it. I thought I just thought that this is the character everyone wanted Ryan Reynolds to play. And it's been a long road to it, and it looks good. And so I don't understand why Fox just doesn't go, let's just put out the trailer so people can really watch it. Because everyone's saying it looks awesome. This shitty phone quality version, everyone's responding positively to, and they're busy running around going, man, how did this happen? Just put it online. People love this. They're excited for it.
Exactly.
So I'm excited for Deadpool. I'm really excited it's going to happen. And I can't wait.
Yeah. Well, see, I don't even like the Deadpool character, but I thought the trailer was a really well cut trailer. It was funny, like you said. It was different, which is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, even for somebody who doesn't like Deadpool, this is a movie that I could see myself seeing, and probably having a good laugh and having a good time with. So, a successful trailer just for that reason. I'm still a little worried about how Deadpool is going to carry an entire film.
I'm so excited to see what they do. Just again with the narrative device of him being able to address the audience. I think it'll be
I'm
real
super
refreshing.
Curious. I'm very interested because I feel like Deadpool's at his best when you team him up with somebody that you already know. So, like, you say, okay, Spider-Man's working with Deadpool. And he's sort of like the side character who's kind of annoying the whole time to the main character. And that's what makes him funny. And he can kind of break the fourth wall. But when you get him by himself, I'm not sure how much of an arc or how much of an interesting character he can be because his reaction to everything is the same. It's just wit. So, whether or not he can carry the whole film by himself remains to be seen, but I think it'll certainly be funny, and I think that the inclusion of like Colossus is a good thing because
straight man,
like I said, exactly, and it gives Deadpool somebody to annoy in the film. And like I said, that to me is his strength. You put him by himself, he can't annoy anybody but the audience.
Which
you
is
give him
bad.
another kid. Exactly. So I think they're doing everything right, and I think it'll be a successful film for it. But it remains to be seen. And like I said, I'm not a Deadpool fan, so if they can win me over, then they've done something really, really, really smart. So, yeah.
And I think it appears that the story is going to be one of like he's going to, you see him with some woman in the beginning, so I'm presuming that she is killed or murdered or something. And combined with what happens to him, this is going to be a big revenge, which is a nice, easy plot to give. Because again, like
which is all you need in a comedy.
How can he carry the movie? That's probably a good choice for them to do it because after a while, he's not going to have some righteous goal. He's a mercenary and he's a chatterbox. And I'm happy for Ryan Reynolds because his entire career is a resume for why he should have been in this film. So it'll be good to finally see it. And I'm just excited to see a portrayal of a character which would reflect, a 13-year-old who's playing that character as a video game. To have him cut it, like shoot a guy right through the face and just go boom, or just just these little touches are just gonna make it. It's gonna be real fun. I'm just excited. It looks like a lot of fun.
Sure, yeah. I'm with you.
Let's talk about Wolverine real quick.
Okay.
The media sort of jumped on this little thing Hugh Jackman said. He was at Comic-Con. I don't even think he was really supposed to be part of the Apocalypse panel because it's unclear right now as to whether he's in it. Or to the degree to which he's in it, rather. Right. So he was up on stage mainly to just thank everybody. He was up there saying, "I just want to thank the fans. Like this is going to be this Wolverine 3 is going to be my final film playing the character." And again, I was not in the room, even though you can assume we're at Comic-Con. Assume I was not in the room when this happened.
Right.
Or that I was too busy on a conference call with, important people.
With Spielberg, yeah.
Well, you can assume it's Spielberg.
Sure.
You can assume Donald Trump was there, and you can also assume, just assume lots of important people in this room that you can assume I was in.
Exactly.
Assume
man.
That's not going in there.
Okay.
I love how you sound like truly offended whenever I do it. Like, oh man, come on, Hooper.
Get your act together,
man. You're treating us like we're on terrestrial radio right now, and the shareholders are looking at you like, "Hey, you better button him up, or you're gone." You're like, Hooper, come on. There's kids listening.
God, I have kids to think about. I have a contract.
My son is right here. Right here.
God, man.
Son, are you okay? Hooper, what do you have to say for yourself? People can wonder what I said. It'll be great.
Yes.
Anyway, Hugh Jackman was just saying thank you up on stage. And he made this sort of offhanded comment. He said something like, all I'm going to say is Old Man Logan. And, and he's like, read into it what you will. And it seemed kind of like more like a joke. He didn't, but everything online from everyone was Hugh Jackman confirms Wolverine 3 plot will follow the Old Man Logan storyline, and it was all of them saying the word confirmed. Mm-hmm. I was like, it wasn't confirmed. That was like an offhanded. It was weird how this week, like I agree when people say the media blows things out of proportion. It's like, yeah, they do, but not always. This was one of those weeks where everything I saw was completely taken out of context, and I just thought, you would think that some certain film news outlets would be above that, but it was all. It's like it was all written by BuzzFeed. It was like confirms. It's like a confirmation is when they say. Do I have to explain what the word literal means to people? A confirmation is literally when they say, "Hey, this is what the storyline is going to be." It was a joke. He was referring to, he was talking about how he's not going to play the character anymore, but it was more of a joke about how, well, if I were, all I'm saying, there's a storyline that exists where a guy in his 50s can play Wolverine. That's what he was alluding to, not the fact that they're going to do that storyline. And hey, look, maybe they will. But it was too on the nose to me to take it seriously.
And everybody was just looking for the scoop. Everybody wanted to be the first place to say confirmed, and so everybody did it at the same time.
Yeah, the media are one of those schools of fish that you see. There's millions of them. They all, if one of them twitches and changes direction, they all go that way.
They all do,
and it's like. Be the one fish, man. Be the one fish that goes its own way, dog.
Well, see, but my reaction to that is you can't even do Old Man Logan because it's reliant on the Marvel Universe. And so, because the basic plot line...
Remind everyone, Dustin, what studio is in charge of the X-Men films?
Fox. They can't do anything. They have... Maybe they could use some of the Fantastic Four. But the end.
Yay. Hooray!
Hooray! Fantastic Four. But yeah, no, I believe the storyline is okay. So it's like in the future, and the supervillains have won, and the superheroes are in hiding or dead or whatever, and so the supervillains have taken over, and the villains are like, you know, Red Skull and Doctor Doom and the Abomination, and I'm like, you can't use any of those except maybe one. And then like the main story gets going because Hawkeye sends Logan to do a thing, but you can't use Hawkeye, so you got to change that. And then the final battle, the main antagonist is the Hulk, but you can't use him. So of all the characters I just mentioned, you can use one. Right. And so the whole thing has to be changed so much. What would even be the point? I don't know.
Yeah, that's why it's complete BS, and that's not the storyline. Whatever the storyline is, I'm excited for it because he was saying all these things. It was a real nice, genuine speech about how, you know, Jim Mangold's going to direct it. James Mangold's the one who directed, you know, The Wolverine, which I think is a great film, especially as a standalone. Like we talk about how, I mean, it works fine in the X-Men universe. It's pretty detached anyway as a solo film, but it's a real great standalone Wolverine film, I think. So James Mangold gets it, and him and Hugh Jackman seem to be simpatico in where they want to take the character, and especially if this is going to be his last hurrah. I mean, this is a perfect chance to kill him off because it seemed like the X-Men universe has largely sort of left him behind anyway, or they could if they wanted to. Or they've gone enough into, you know what I mean, into where if they recasted him, it's not weird because you're dealing with a younger cast anyways. Right. So it's fine. I'm excited to see whatever they do, and he's just talking about how we've got a real great story for you guys, and it's what I promised. You know, I just want to. He basically said, I just wanted to make the fans happy, and I'm real proud of what we're doing, what we're going to be doing with the character, and it's everything I promised you guys. And I just thought, I love Hugh Jackman. Like he's a real genuine dude, and even though he plays one of the meanest sons of bitches in superhero history, he's such a happy dude. I don't know. I just like he's just a great dude, and it's I'm glad that he's getting out while he's on top. And it seems like they're proud of what they've done with the character, and it'll close it out real nicely for everybody. So whatever Wolverine 3 is going to be, I'm excited for it, and I'm just excited for him to not have to wake up every 3 hours and drink a protein kale shake anymore, right? Because I'm sure that's miserable.
Exactly. I'm sure it is.
Real quick, let's squeeze in this last little bit.
Okay.
So for the Star Wars panel, they showed. Not so much a trailer as it was the most unique footage shown because it wasn't a trailer for anything. It was more of a behind the scenes reel. Yeah, it was a featurette, and it was a real unique way to tease the movie without showing, hey, let's show this space battle real quick that we've been working on. It was more of, listen, guys, we have the right intentions for this film and for the films going forward. And we want you to know how excited we are to be working on this and how excited we are to really bring you the right story. A nice little gift to the fans that we're doing justice to your childhood memories. Right. Yeah. So, again, it doesn't... I'm already interested in the movie. Again, I really don't know if I'll see it the opening weekend. I might. Who knows? But that's one of those where... that didn't change my opinion really of the movies at all. I sort of, but it might change a lot of people's opinions about it because when you see the intent, you might be more inclined to check it out than you might have previously. Sure. So, I guess for a lot of people, it was reassuring. Sure, I was already looking forward to it in I'm not a huge Star Wars fan either, but I enjoy the original films, and so I'm looking forward to this and seeing what JJ can do with it. It didn't really show me anything I didn't already know in terms of we're using practical effects, we're doing this and that. But it's nice to see that JJ's putting in that much care, but kind of you always knew that he would. Yeah. And it was just a nice little tribute to the fans, which is really what Comic-Con's about, because Comic-Con's become a marketing tool. But it started as something for the fans, and so for JJ to give to the fans what he gave, I think was two birds with one stone kind of a thing. I noticed that he spared them Carrie Fisher, though.
Yes, he did do that.
Real quick, I guess in theaters this weekend / in theaters now, probably when you listen to this, they'll be in theaters. A couple of big films. The two biggest releases this weekend are going to be Ant-Man, the next Marvel iteration, which I'm excited for. I that will probably be the next thing Dustin and I talk about. But I'm excited for that movie, and I'm really upset that these Facebook video, even if you turn off the autoplay, the first frame of some of these Facebook promos spoils a character cameo.
Yeah,
and it's like, ugh, but
which is ridiculous, right?
But I'm excited for it, and the early reviews they're sending out good vibes, so that's good.
Yeah,
an entirely new character with entirely unique powers. It's kind of like Joss Whedon said with the Phase 1. He's like, everyone kind of has punchy powers.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see, what are they going to be able to do creatively with a dude who can shrink.
Yeah.
And the other big release is Judd Apatow's next film, Trainwreck, starring Amy Schumer and Bill Hader. This is also getting good early reviews.
Is Amy Schumer supposed to be funny? Is she a comedian?
That's the idea, yeah.
Oh, I've seen some of her videos. I thought she was just like a politician or something.
No, Amy Schumer's a comedian. She's got a whole show on Comedy Central called Inside Amy Schumer. She's kind of gaining a lot of traction and prominence these days. From what I've seen from her, I haven't seen enough of her show to make a fair assessment, but I'm generally on board with her comedy.
That makes one of us.
So anyway, those are the rest of these are just weird little movies I never heard of, so therefore I will not publicize them.
Yes, unless you pay us. A better laugh than Jared Leto's.
Should have cast me. I'm just going to hurt you real bad.
Heath Ledger Jr.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It sounded pretty similar to Heath Ledger. Yeah,
except the laugh. The laugh was weird. The laugh was like...
It was like... Yeah, it sounded like an Affleck commercial.
It sounded like a Muppet. And I'm like, what's the matter with this guy?
It sounded like Heath Ledger's laugh the first time you see him in The Dark Knight, where he's in the background, he's like, and he enters the room.
And he's kind of like fake laughing?
Yeah, he's like, It's good that they've got him going brutal. I guess it's too late to mention all this, but it's good that he's going brutal. But don't forget that he's a clown.
Yeah, man.
Don't do exact. I'm like, again. Jared Leto is a great choice to play the Joker, but if you basically just repeat the Heath Ledger angle, then you're not showing me anything different except a different person playing him, which counts for nothing if the direction you're going is basically the same. I love Heath Ledger's Joker, but this should not be that. It does not fit.
No, to me, the thing is they had such a perfect opportunity to do something new and cool and different. And really, what would be new and cool and different would be to just mix a couple of performances together and get something cool. So I would say, what do the fans enjoy the most? Mark Hamill's Joker. What does the general public enjoy the most? Heath Ledger's Joker. Okay, blend them together.
Right.
Like, give me something that's grounded and psychologically complex, but something that's also flamboyant and theatrical and not afraid to like laugh at the Three Stooges. Like, give me those things. Anyway,
well, hey guys, thanks for listening. You can. Oh shit! I don't have all my shit ready, y'all. I'm on my shit ready. Why do I keep doing that?
I do not know.
When I make a mistake, I turn into a comedian at the Apollo. That's what a comedian at the Apollo would say if he lost his cue cards or forgot his routine. So hey, y'all ever see an airplane? Oh, man, I don't have my shit ready. You know what I'm saying? Don't have my shit ready, man.
Oh, Hooper,
I'm dying up here.
You know what I just did?
What'd you do? Did you stop?
We were literally just talking about this. I hit the dang Facebook button, and went to dang Facebook, and the first dang video on Facebook is a dang video that shows dang cameos from Ant-Man that I hadn't been spoiled for yet. And dang it. And not just like a dang, like, here's like a brief shot of him, but they're having a dang conversation on a dang rooftop. There's the whole dang scene. I don't even have to wait after the credits anymore. Stupid Facebook and your dang old sponsored ads now.
Man, they don't have this shit ready. You know what I'm saying? Dustin, they didn't have the shit ready. All right. Well, hey, if you want to listen to more of these episodes, you can find us on iTunes at HooperCast or on Facebook, HooperCast.com. Or
so close.
Facebook.com/HooperCast or on Twitter at HooperCast or on Tumblr, HooperCastPod.tumblr.com or on Blogger, HooperCastPod.blogspot.com or HooperCastPod on YouTube. Or you can send us a question, a comment, an insult, please no threats, a love letter, a wiener image capture,
commendation,
or other stuff. Please don't send wiener image captures.
Presidential pardon.
Yeah, presidential pardon, jury summons, candygram,
Nobel Peace Prize.
Nobel Peace Prize, Nobel War Prize, anything you'd like. Just not
anything that is a Nobel. I want it.
Yeah. Send all written, verbal things to hoopercast@gmail.com. So, tell me, do you bleed?
You will.
You will. I promise. Swear to God. Swear to God you're gonna bleed. You're so gonna bleed. You don't even know. You don't even know, dude.
Jennifer.
You're just gonna bleed.
Oh, God. My life is a wreck.
I feel like drinking and gambling right now.
Goodwill Hunting too. Casey Affleck, your career.
Oh, she's gone, girl, for real.
Gone, baby, gone.
Gone, baby, gone. God. Oh, I'm gonna have to.
Pearl Harbor.
She said she was gonna Argo away.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Now she's gone, baby, gone. She's my gone girl. Now I'm gonna have to go hit the town.
Hit the town. Oh, oh no. Oh, Ben Affleck references.
I'm so sorry, Ben Affleck.